With this agent, you can look up, update, and create new contacts in your Google Contacts database with nothing more than a quick text or audio message. This agent can pull directly from your Google Contacts account and will check your queries against your database to return your contacts that match your requests. When updating contacts, it will ask for confirmation of contact details and the person to update before acting on any existing contact. And with its enhanced Postgres memory, it is capable of keeping the conversation going with you to be sure it is always following your commands. As always, you can download this N8N workflow for free from my free school community, where we give away over 30 different business-focused workflows ranging from social media posting bots, executive assistants, lead and email scrapers, and more, with new free workflows coming out every week, along with tutorial videos, how-to guides, and a community of automation-focused business owners all looking to collaborate and grow their businesses with AI-powered automations. You can also join our advanced community for weekly tech support calls, marketing and business growth discussions, as well as getting to pick my brain on N8N, AI automations, or business in general. All right, and let's go ahead and actually see it in action. So let's just go ahead and say, get me Chase's contact info. Now, Chase being Chase Gafunga, the made-up person my high school class, Go Amador Valley High 2004, made up in order to be our class president, and the administration got really, really angry at us. So let's see, we've got two Chases in my contact database. Got Chase Thompson and Chase Gafunga. Good, I got my Chase Gafunga, so that's exactly who I wanted. So let's say that I want to go ahead and update Chase's info here. So what are we missing? Missing a, no, we got a phone number. Let's add an email for Chase. Let's add an email for Chase Gafunga. His email is chase@fakeemail.com. All right, so what it's going to do, it's going to run through the process. It's going to confirm with me that it understands what I'm asking first before it does anything else. It's not going to just go do it. It's going to confirm. So here's our contact ID. Chase is the name, last name Gafunga. Chase@fakeemail.com. He's got his phone number, his address. It's all the same. That's right. Let's go ahead. Yes, proceed. So now it's going to go in, because it has our contact ID already. It's going to go and it's going to input and update Chase's contact in my Google Contacts account for me. And so we'll get a confirmation here in just a second that that's all done. Here's what we have on file. Boom, everything's good. If you need any additional changes, let me know. So, and okay, let's say we also want to add somebody else. Let's go ahead. Let's create a new contact, Wednesday Wiley. Her phone number is 345-456-4433. And we'll just go ahead and send that. And what it's going to do is it's going to respond back again once more with, hey, this is what we have. Most likely it's not going to find anything in my Google Contacts. I don't have a person by Wednesday Wiley. We want to create a new contact, just confirm the information, all that's right. So yes, go ahead and create that contact. And like all the other bots that I put out, you can also do this by audio if you really wanted. I just prefer to type when I'm making these videos for some particular reason. I don't know. Anyway, so in just a second, we'll get that response back. It's going to go ahead and let me know. Here's what we have on file. Wednesday Wiley, phone number. Okay, that number is correct. And it's uploaded by the system on this date. Today is June 7th as I'm recording this, so everything is good. System worked perfectly. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at the workflow itself. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you'll be familiar with this structure here. This is how I start pretty much all of my agents. It's just a way for me to be able to use Slack to either use text or audio to be able to command the agent, process it all, get the past conversation memory, and then move everything forward into the actual bot, which is this section over here. So we'll actually go through it, step by step. So I have a Slack trigger node. What we have is I'm connected to my bot. If you don't have a Slack bot yet, I have a link in the description below on how to set that up. Just set up your bot credentials. I've got a channel that I'm looking for the bot, and I'm ignoring the bot so I don't create a recursive loop of never-ending messages between the bot and itself. The message gets passed forward through this loop, this code node here. The code node is looking for a specific timestamp. It's actually looking for the thread timestamp in order to be able to identify the message chain that we are engaged in so that it pulls the proper information when it goes to pull from Postgres later. So just understand that if it's a top of the thread message, the meaning of the first message, it's going to label it with the user ID and top. If it's part of the thread, it's going to label it as user ID and then the thread timestamp, and that's going to be identified as the session ID. It also gives us the user, the text that the user sends, if you send text in your message, the timestamp that the original message is being sent, so any communication, it's the timestamp of that message. The thread timestamp, if there is one, it's going to identify if this is a thread, if there are any files, including audio files, so when you send voice messages. All that gets passed through a switch. The switch is checking for whether there's an M4A file, which is the audio file that you would send Slack if you're giving in a voice command, or if it's a text message. If it's an audio file, it comes up through this top path. If it's a text message, it goes through the bottom path. If audio, we first use an HTTP request node to download that file using our Slack OAuth 2 API credentials. Again, that's all discussed in the Slack bot video that I have linked below. But you're going to set up your Slack OAuth 2 credentials. You're going to do a response of file format or a response format of file, outputting a binary file. We need to download the audio. That then gets passed into this OpenAI transcription node. So you want to set up your OpenAI credentials. If you don't have that, links in the description below. All right, I'll show you how to do that as well. We do our resource of audio. Operation is transcriber recording. Our input is binary, and it's going to output text. Now the text comes down this other path. We're going to just run it through this edit fields node real quick. That's coming from the code node. It's already identified as text, but we want it to be called a JSON.text. That way our next node, this other edits field, is able to properly pull it and move all text wherever it came from forward along with everything else, our user ID, our timestamp, our thread timestamp if we have one, as well as our session ID that we identified in the code node. Now that goes down two paths. The top path just comes straight to the merge node, meaning all of our information goes to the merge node. The second path will check whether this is a thread timestamp. So we're checking whether or not the session ID contains the word top. If it does, it means it's not part of a threaded conversation. It's going to bypass our Postgres memory, go to this code node. If it does have a thread ID number in it, meaning it doesn't have that word top in the session ID, then it's going to come down here to the Postgres node. Postgres node, you want to set up your Postgres credentials. Again, if you don't have that set up, link in the description below on how to set up Postgres. All right, we're doing an operation of select public schema. I'm going to pull from the table. I just call my chat with all my bots N8 and Roger Chat. You can name yours whatever you want. I pull a limit of 20 because I don't think you're going to have more than 20 turns between a bot and any one thread, especially when you're just updating or asking for contact information. We're selecting the rows based on the session ID, and we're pulling that based on the value of the user ID :thread ID, because that's how it's going to all be uploaded at the end of this bot back into Postgres. So again, if it's the first message, it bypasses this. But if it's any other message, part of the chain, including the bot's responses to you, then it would have the thread ID attached to it, and then that comes through here, and it's all part of the session ID, and that's how it finds the conversation. All of that information comes into this code node here. This code node is going to sort the Postgres memory based on a timestamp into a chronological order. It's going to output everything. It's going to call it content. All the data of all of the past conversations is going to be called content, along with the time added, the conversation chain, as well as any other data or items are going to all be passed along. All right, and so we get the session ID out, and the message is going to have a subcategory of data, which is going to have the content, which is the past conversations. We're going to have the conversation chain, which means this bot is part of the contacts update chain versus another one that maybe like get weather. So if you want to like hook all these bots up into one like super bot, this conversation chain will allow it to know what conversation it was part of so it can go down the correct path later. And I am going to be coming out with videos discussing that soon enough, as well as a last added, what was the last message that got added to this chain in its entirety so that the bot has some sort of chronological context. All that information gets passed into this merge node, which is combining it. Matching by field, the field will be session_ID, which is what we're passing from the code node, as well as from the Postgres. It all gets matched together so that it's being passed as one item moving forward, keeping the matches, both inputs being merged together. Okay, that's the input part. Now for the actual AI agent itself. We're going to run all that information through this AI agent here. We're going to pass in the current user message, so what are you currently telling it to do, as well as all past conversation data. That information is going to go through this system prompt here, which is a message classification and structured data extraction agent. So what its job is to figure out this information down here, and I'll just come straight down here. So what are you asking it to do? Does it have enough information to be able to proceed yet? Does it have the contact ID? If so, what is that contact ID? And that's the contact ID from Google Contacts. It's pulling the name that you give it, the extracted contact name. It's breaking down into first name, last name, the contact's phone number, the contact's email, the contact's website, the contact's title, the contact's company, the contact's street address, contact city, state, zip, country, as well as any additional notes you may want to add, and whether or not the user has given approval as part of the conversation chain, not just on the first turn, but as part of the conversation chain to actually take the action that you're requesting it. So I built this so that if you tell it to do something, it's always going to ask for approval to make sure it got that contact information right first, rather than just going and doing it. That way you can make sure that the bot did its job correctly, and that way there's no issues, all right? So all this other information here is just simply kind of laying out its task. It needs to classify the information of what it's supposed to do, evaluate whether there's sufficient information to carry out the information, detect whether there's a contact ID anywhere in the conversation chain. It needs to extract out all that contact information I just listed out and determine whether the user has given approval. If you're asking for a lookup or has not yet given explicit approval, then it needs to list the approval section as no. It only marks it as yes if all of the following are true. The contact information being approved is already present in the prior conversation history. The user is giving explicit confirmation that they are approving, and they're doing that in this turn. So in this current request, not in past requests. So if you give it approval before, and then it goes to take an action, and then you're like, oh, well, actually, I need to update this. It's going to set it as no, even though it has prior approval in the past. It needs to get current approval. All right, we give it some good examples of approvals as well as a bad example of approval. We give it our output format. We give it a chain of thought reasoning, just how does it supposed to go through all of this information. That's kind of a standard chain of thought. And then we give it an example of an input as well as some examples of outputs. So all those are examples as well as some global negatives. Don't misclassify anything. Don't set has sufficient info if you're asking for a contact lookup, but you don't give a name. It's going to be a no. I don't have enough information to be able to make anything happen yet. Don't set it has sufficient info to false if you've provided the minimum amount of information required to actually do something in the system. All right. Don't fabricate any missing details. Don't omit any contact IDs if they are given anywhere. Never hallucinate anything. And do not assign a category unless the user's request is clearly about contact management. Okay, and so all of that then gets passed through this code node here. This code node is just going to identify the information a little bit more. It's going to clean it up to be able to make sure it passes through the next steps fairly easily. Okay, and then I'll admit I don't actually recall exactly what it does. And I don't read code, so it takes the value of my entries, and it's going to output it in a clean, I'm assuming a string. Okay. We then run through this if node. This if node is going to determine whether or not you have given approval yet or not. If no, it's going to go up the top path. If you have given approval, it's going to go down the bottom path to either create a contact here, or it's going to update the contact down here. If it's no, has not gotten approval yet, next is going to find out whether you were looking to have the contact looked up or you're looking for approval or it needs to get approval for making an adjustment of some type, whether that's a creation or it's an update. So here, what it's looking for the action type here of retrieve contact info. If it's yes, it's looking for retrieve contact info, then it's going to go with this top path. It's going to go into this AI agent who's going to get your prior conversations, your current request, as well as all of the data supplied by the AI agent in the first AI agent node, which was this one back here called AI agent. Okay, we then have this system prompt here. The system prompt is your professional digital assistant. It has one tool, Google Contacts. It specializes in finding the right contact information swiftly and accurately. All right, what it's supposed to do, it's going to use the Google tool as well as any prior conversation context to locate the contact that you're looking up the information for. So it's got your current message, your past message, as well as the past content from the AI agent. It's always going to call the Google Contacts tool using either names, email, or the nickname of the person. So if it looks up a name and it doesn't see under names, all right, then it's going to try emails. If it doesn't see it under emails, if it only had an email, if you can't find it under their official name, it'll check their nickname, is what I'm trying to say. All right, and then it's only supposed to do one at a time. Don't combine values. Don't try names and emails at the same time. It'll break if it does that. If one match is found, present the full details. If multiple matches are found, show each match with their details. This will help the user choose correctly. Because if you're saying, hey, look up Chase, and there's two Chases, which one did you want to update? You need to give it that understanding of which one it was supposed to be. Return all of the information for each contact, including their contact ID. Do not omit fields that have data. Do not omit fields that are empty or missing. Give it everything you have, AI. All right, and then we give it a response format. Just give us, here's what I found, here's the details, and then repeat for each matching content. If you're looking for someone else, please feel free to clarify or try again. If it doesn't find anybody, it's supposed to just say, hey, I didn't find anybody. Can you give me some more detail? It's supposed to be professional. Never mention APIs or tools. Don't return any fields that are missing or empty, even though it said to do so up here. It says do omit. Okay. Do not use ellipses or parentheses or end dashes. Do not include any JSON keys or raw outputs. And then what not to do, don't ignore additional matching contacts. Always return each one's full details. Don't mention a contact without giving their full information. Sometimes, like when I was testing it, sometimes it would say, oh, here's Chase Thompson's information. Oh, we also found another Chase, but who cares about him? I'm like, yo, give me his information too. Do not omit fields that contain data. Do not mention, okay. Do not return fields that are blank. Do not combine names or other fields into one search item. Do not ask for clarification if you have a valid result. Don't say I'm an AI, yada, yada. So we have one tool, it's a Google Contacts tool. You want to set up your Google Contacts account. That's the Google Cloud Console. I have a video on how to do that and the link in the description below. So what we're doing is a resource of contact. Operation is get many. I have it limited to 20. If you've got lots of John Smiths in your contact database, you may want to up that. But what it's searching for, or at least what it's going to return, are names, email addresses, nicknames, phone numbers, residences, birthdays, and addresses. And we're searching by their first name and their last name, and I guess I should throw email in here too. I'll do that once we're all done with this, but because I should have the email in there. That's fun. And then what it's going to do is it's going to pass it through this kind of process right here, and this is the process that all of these branches use. So I'm only going to go through it once, but what it does is it sends a Slack message to the user. It then updates using an edit fields node to get ready to send information to Postgres. It's going to send the human's message to Postgres first, and then the bot's message to Postgres. That way, everything is nice and neat and organized in your Postgres chat memory table. That way, it gets pulled properly the next time you do a request. So I'll go through it one time here. So again, you set up your credentials for your bot. Your resource is message. Operation is send. You're sending to a channel. The channel would be the bot channel that you want to use for this bot. Message type is just a simple text message. Your message text will be JSON.output, which is the output from the AI agent that comes before it. And what we're responding to, the message timestamp, is going to be the merge timestamp that we had way back over here for our inputs. So, and again, our timestamp is going to be here from the edit field nodes, and that'll just put it into the correct, it'll put it into the correct thread in Postgres. I may update this, because this can also be the thread timestamp right here. Oh, never mind. No, the message will be sent via the Slack bot to the timestamp, which will always put it into the correct thread. And then the edit fields will set the session ID with the user ID that we pull from the merge, which is coming from the code node way at the beginning, colon, and then the JSON.message.thread_TS, which is timestamp that we pull from that Slack node that we just had right there. That'll make sure that the information is logged under the correct session ID when it gets put into Postgres. We're going to label text from the message as just JSON.message.text. Our previous conversation chain is just going to be contacts. Time added, we're just going to add a $now JavaScript to put our date stamp for right now, today's date and time. That gets passed to this Postgres node. Postgres node, again, we're going to do an operation of insert. Public schema table is your chatbot's chat table. Your session ID will pull from that Postgres node we just set up, .item.json .session_ID. And then our message here is going to be type human. Data will have a variable of content, which will be pulled from the merge node because we sent it way back at the beginning, right? It went through the merge node. It's going to be first, and I always have first there because there's so many different code nodes and whatnot in between a lot of my bots that I just use first. You're only getting one message at a time to the bot. It doesn't really matter. .json.text, because that's where the message is found. Then we have this .replace in order to replace all the extra, to get rid of all of the extra quotation marks or colons or curly braces or things that might possibly break the upload into Postgres. We just strip all that out, just give it the raw text. And then we add the timestamp to make sure that the code node earlier in that process, the upload, the insert process that I mentioned before, is able to put everything in chronological order. And then we have this other Postgres node. Again, insert public into your chat table. Same session ID, just JSON.session_ID. This time its type is bot. Our data will be the content of the update Postgres with message node using that .text that we set up. So it's this node here. And for each one, it's going to be their own. But we set text to be the message that the bot sent. And so that's what's getting uploaded for the bot's message to Postgres. We're responding to the user, pulling that from the merge node. Previous conversation chain will be pulled from the Postgres update node, the edit fields node that we set to back. And then the time added will be now as well, so that the timestamps are all logged. Okay, and so that's what happens when you do the update, or no, not the update, the lookup by contact. If you're not looking up a contact, you're then looking for approval because, again, this is the branch that we did not have approval for. So we'll look at the system prompt for this guy. Same inputs. We have the current user request, the previous conversation chains, as well as all of that data that the AI agent, the first AI agent, was able to pull from our conversation and our conversation history. And that includes anything that the bot has looked up because it gets that data too. It's going to run it through this system prompt here. It's a professional assistant. It's going to identify whether the user wants to create or update a contact. It's going to call a Google Contacts tool to be able to identify any matching contacts that you may want to update, or if there's anybody in there, if you're asking it to create, to say, hey, like you've already created it. That way you don't double create a contact in your database. All right, so it's going to pull that information from Google Contacts. If no match is found, it's going to present the information that you have presented to it in order to be able to create a new contact. And then it's going to ask you to confirm or correct any information before proceeding. So it's getting your current message, your past messages, the structured information of all of the data, of all the information from the AI agent, as well as anything from the Google Contacts that it's able to pull out. If it finds somebody, it's going to say, hey, I'm just checking before proceeding. I found an existing contact that may match your request. And it's going to then display that information and then any other people as well. In case you're like, hey, I want to update Chase's information to include his birthday, but you have multiple Chases in your database, it's going to display both of them and say, hey, which one did you want to update? All right. And then it's also going to show your proposed changes that you do want added. And it's going to end with something like, would you like to update the existing contact with these details, or should we do something different? If it doesn't find a contact, it's just going to say, hey, I'm just confirming the details before we proceed, and say something like, hey, it looks like you're creating a new contact with the following info. It's going to list out that info. And does everything look correct, or would you like to make any changes before it proceeds? All right, so it's going to be professional. It's not going to assume approval. It's not going to merge any fields together. It's not going to skip the Google Contacts tool. At least it's not supposed to. Every now and then it does, which is kind of strange. These AIs, you can't trust them 100%. Sometimes it just, whoop, didn't pull it. Like, oh, okay, cool. Never assume a contact should be created or updated without user confirmation. Never merge or modify fields beyond what was extracted. Never present empty fields. Never say, I'm an AI agent or anything like that. Never output raw JSON. Never proceed without asking the user to confirm the shown data. This bot is meant to ask for approval. That's its main job. And I mean, it needs to confirm, like, if you give it just a first name, like, here's your everybody with that first name, which one did you want? And then you can say, oh, I wanted, Chase Kafunga, and it's going to come back around through the approval process one more time. It's go, okay, here's all the information. Here's what you wanted. Here's Chase Kafunga's info. Are we ready to go? And then it'll proceed and update it from there once you give it approval. Now, once you have given it approval for either a creation or an update, it's going to go either down the create path or the update path. For the update, or no, let's do the create path. For the create path, it's getting all that information we had before, your current requests, previous conversations, and all of the data that's pulled out by the AI agent. And I should note, every single time that you're going through this loop, the AI agent is refining the information that it has on the contact. And so when you say, oh, it's supposed to be Chase Kafunga, it's now made sure that all the information for Chase Kafunga that was pulled from Google Contacts is now in the information that's being passed to this agent. Okay, that's then going to pass through this system prompt here. You're a professional digital assistant. You're adding new contacts into the Google Contacts tool. Its role is to create new contacts in Google Contacts using the information supplied by the user and the structured data provided by the previous step. All right, so it's going to review all of the information, your current message, past message, all of the information it's getting, and it's going to format this information into the specific fields that Google Contacts expects, and it's going to output the information with how it needs to be structured. So for the given name to Google Contacts, because that's the field that Google Contacts expects, it's going to use first name. For family name, which is be last name, it's going to use last name. For emails, it's looking for email if it's present, or it's going to leave it blank. For phone numbers, for addresses, companies, birthdays, notes, all of that. For the notes, if you have additional notes you want to add to it, it will add those. But I also have it insert something else as well, that it's going to insert today's date using a year, month, date format, and note that the contact was uploaded by the system. That way, when you're going through your contacts and you can see, oh, this one was updated by the system, you can tell which ones were, in case it was wrong for some reason, oh, it was the AI bot. That way you can possibly fix the bot. All right, it's got style rules on how it's supposed to respond to you. That's not necessarily important. No hallucinating, no making up values. Don't use placeholders. No, that's a big no-no. Google will break if you do that. If it's not known, just leave it unknown or just blank. Do not attempt to guess any missing address parts. Don't merge names and titles. Keep them distinct. Don't use emails or phone numbers if they're not clearly supplied. Never assign a type other than work. You don't have to worry about that. I set it up in the Google Contact to be marked as work or home as required. Don't submit any fields at all if its associated value is missing. And when responding, it's just going to respond to you with something like, here's what we have on file, and it's going to lay out all the information for that person, for that new contact. All right, and then let's check out the tool that it has attached to it. You're going to set up your credentials as before. Your resource is contact, operation is create, and then we just have all these different fields in here because I wasn't sure which one you'd want to update. I just gave it pretty much everything, and I have the AI model determine what needs to be filled in for all of it. So if you don't have that set up, it'll look kind of like it'll look like this. Just click this little star button over here, and then the AI model will figure out what's supposed to go in there. All right, so it's got their name, family name, given name, addresses. It's got their birthday, their company, their emails, notes, phone. Now you'll notice some of these fields aren't filled in. So like the address for other, you can set it to home or work or other. I don't know what type of addresses that you're going to have your contacts be listed under. So I didn't want to set it for home if you're uploading business contacts, because that's probably their work. But if you're uploading your mom, that's not work, right? So I just set it to other. I mean, whatever. For emails, I set it to work as well because, again, it could be home, it could be their personal email, but you never know. So if you just mark it as work, probably more safe than normal. As well as phone, I set it to main. You can have it as home, mobile, other, whatever. I set it to main. And then one thing I have here is I have a description under phone to include the phone without any parenthetical marks or dashes. And I found that if it tries, different people put different phone numbers into the system in different ways. And that way that you do could break it. So I just tell it to include it without any of the extra markings. All right, and so then it would respond to the user in the same way it did before. If you have an update, it goes through pretty much the exact same process. Same information's put in, the current user, the previous conversation chain, as well as all of the data that's coming from the AI agent. It's going through the system prompt here. System prompt is your professional agent. You're updating existing contacts using the information supplied. It's the same information that the create bot gets, same instructions that the create bot gets. So I'm not going to go through it. Same do's and don'ts. And in fact, it's pretty much exactly the same, but this is for create. And I wanted to make sure that it understood that this one is updating the contacts rather than creating the contacts. And the reason why it's different is if we come down here to this tool here, we're actually using an update operation rather than a create operation. So resources contact, operation is update. We have to have a contact ID, and that is being pulled out by one of these two bots up here, either the lookup or the approval bot. It's going to get the contact ID. It's going to go through this AI agent here. And then it just puts it into the Google contact node here, gives it the contact ID to look up. And we're going to return all these fields. So it's going to give you all that information. And we're going to update all these fields, same as the create bot. So there's nothing different here. And that's it. Then it returns it to the user. So as you can see, this workflow allows you to quickly and easily access, create, and update contacts in your Google Contacts account with little to no effort on your part. And now your contacts list is just a short voice message away. So if you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. It really does help get this information out there to those who need it. Also, be sure to click the link in the description below to download today's workflow, as well as all kinds of other workflows that we have available. N8N tutorials, we've got social media posting bots, we've got executive assistants, we've got marketing plan generators, and all kinds of tools for business, all available absolutely for free in the free school community. As always, I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together.